しいと寂しいと心が騒いだいけないわ奪われる罪深さを夢見てる
What's up, everyone? This is Yona, and welcome to your Kuromatoki's Interrupted Podcast Season 2. Oh my gosh, well, guess what it is? It's a Pride Month, and I just want to give greet a happy Pride Month to each one of you, and to our guys and gals and our folks in the LGBTQIA+ community. Of course, we are one with them, and we are having solidarity with them, and we got really good. Let's just continue the fight for our equality, and we will stand with them, and we'll stand along together until the end. So again, happy Pride Month to our folks in the LGBTQIA community. So before we get moving on to our main topic of this episode, so I want to just gonna give you a quite brief about how they came into LGBTQIA literature and community. Yes, I'm an ally. A particular ally. It was I was around late high school, I think. And I have a lot of gay friends, and I have lesbian friends. I actually have a lot of lesbian friends, whether in here or in abroad. And I wondered, my mind tells me that I should not able to discriminate them, nor to insult them by their looks, by their sexuality and everything, because they are like us. They want to live with us, and that is one of the most important things that we should have to consider. And with that thing, so that we should to treat them with respect, with dignity, and to be loved. My God, that's the most important. Of course, love is a universal expression, and they say that love is basically different kinds of love, especially romantic love, friendship love, everything, all the kinds of love. Gender love is basically one of those. It's also universal, because it's more than just the gender itself. It's more on the acceptance. It's more on understand a person with of course gender fluidity, and the way that they should be getting treated with sense of responsibility, sense of appreciation, and admiring somebody that is completely completely different gender from us. Any other way, can you just imagine that? How many times that I've said this? I was in a previous cosplay updates for the past few years, and it's so important that we should celebrate with them and one with them. And it's so important to them, not just every June, but the whole entire year. And the way that we should respect them, we should be respected with them, to one another, because we had to do something. And you cannot underestimate some people. So our guest is about to ready, but before we're gonna moving on to our guest for today, for our special Friday episode. So so now where we start? Oh yeah, my not necessarily gay awakening, but as an ally, my awakening in the genre in the drama, the queer genre was Maria sama ga miteru, or Maria watches over us. So this is the first Yuri, or the first queer work that I seen. As a kid, I never really thought that it was a queer novel or a Yuri novel, because at the time I didn't know that such thing as a kid. I was an innocent little kid. I was around grade school, and then when in our local channel, yes, it was aired, if I'm not mistaken, in our local channel for only two seasons, unfortunately. So I did know that it was a third. It has a third, and the fourth season all were in. The former was an former OVA. And again, in Animex Asia, well, we had a cable back then, and actually we did an English version of that show. I really like it. I really like the atmosphere. It's very the concept of all girls Catholic schools that I later realized that it was a part of the S-class genre, and as well as part of the Yuri genre as well. I didn't know that until more than 10 years later, when I would watch the show for the first two seasons of the show, and then caught it up with the third and fourth. So that's it. That's the story. The rest is history. So since then, I really engaged into and very interested with you, and became a fan. And then I watched Strawberry Panic, then Kanazuki no Miko, and then later on, then we got Citrus. Yeah, I already read the manga. Unfortunately, I didn't able to read because of priorities and other errands, and then Blooming to You, and the ones that has Yuri subtext. Yes, I'm talking about the precursors, because it has a Yuri subtext, or the queer subtext, particularly the main heroines. I don't know mention one by one, but most notably were the originals, we might say, that is Nagisa Misumi and Honoka Yokushiro, aka Curious Black and White, then Saki Hyuga and Mai Misho, or Curious Bloom and Egret. Then we got Hibiki Hojo and Kanade Minamino, Curious Melody Rhythm. And then, of course, we got, Mira Asahina and Riko Izayoi. You're talking about Curious Miracle and Magical. Then, Curious Macro and Chocola, or even aka Yukoi Kotozume and Akira Kenjo. Oh, there's another one, of course, Curious Mashi and Amor. Or should we say, Emiro Isaki and Ruru Amor. Then, of course, who could forget Hika Lala, or Hikaru Hoshina and Lala Hagoromo, or Curious Star Milk. And then the most recent were Curious Summer Lamer, or aka, of course, Manatsu Natsumi and Laura Lamer. So we were talking about them in the sophomore episode of season 2, and then our special with our tribute special with the Tropical Ridge season in this podcast. So you guys, in case you didn't miss that, then you should listen to this too. There are vast interesting and nice commentary between them. But of course, my first awakening, the couple that awakened me in the genre, were Haruka Tenno and Michiru Kaiho, or Seiyu Uranus and Seiyu Neptune, from the Sailor Moon series. And as a kid, I was wondering, I don't know, my almost 10-year-old me, like, are they sisters or something? But later on, it turned out to be, there are lesbians. I didn't know that until such couple of years later. But now I love them even more. Until even the crystal versions, and then the internal movies, the crystal TV series, and then the eternal movies are very good. Very good as well. Okay, back to Marimite. Yeah, I really the first couple that I took the awakening in the genre. In actually in the genre, the girls love genre were Yumi Fukuzawa and Sachiko Ogasawara. So they were the first, and I really adored their sister-like bond, and in the sense that they are kind of like they're actually like a couple though. They're very sweet though, and you can tell them that this is a typical class S relationship. So in case did know class S what it means, it refers to a Japanese waisei ego, a Japanese waisei ego term that refers to two girls that are fell in love or a bit in a romantic friendship. So meaning to say there are more than just romantically friends, whatever. Yeah, that's what the class is. Well, another example is the one from the founder of the class S genre. That is Nobuko Yoshiya. Yeah. So the girl. Oh my god, what the title is it? I forgot the title, but it's very similar to Marimite. The usual attic, the usual setting, everything is almost the same. And the other one was Hana Monogatari. Yeah, I know that. I know she's most notable for that work. And wait, hold on. I get my phone and I will definitely gonna do it. Hold on. I'm sorry, I cannot remember what the title is. Yeah. Oh, there it is. So it's it's Yadu no Nishijo, or the girls in the attic. So that was the first ever Eastern queer novel that Yoshia written and created. So I get there's in a nine Yaneura. It's almost the same as it's similar with Marite and the layer the other words that came before, like Shioi no Futari, or the couple in the right room. Yeah, which has had a sad ending. Goodness gracious, I already read it twice already. So it was so sad. On the latter, it was different. It's so sad on the latter, and the troop, but it also started the troop in between the blonde gal and in a black haired gal falling in love with each other. I know there is something familiar with us, GL fans. And also yaoi as well. And in I don't know, I can't remember what yaoi short is. But actually, my awakening was started in Card Captor Sakura with Toya Kinomoto and who's this? Yukito. I can't. Okay, I forgot his surname. I'm so sorry. But yeah, they were the first couple, not outside the genre, but actually the first ones a bit in a little lake was in love stage. I can't remember their names, I'm so sorry. Hazuki Sena said, and the other one I forgot his name. The other one, the one who fell in love with that dude. Oh, it's quite late in the genre, but anyways, yeah. So I didn't able to watch a single yaoi show ever since, due to priorities. But on the top of that, yes, it's gotta be more not an anime form than in live action, unfortunately. But until such time, until when I saw Doctor Who. So actually, I've been Doctor Who for almost 4 years now, and I already I talked about the show in our podcast for the first two, and I'm so happy to. So yeah, in order for this and for the Pride Month, so we're gonna talk about Thasmin. So in the ship of the 13th Doctor and Yasmin Khan, played by the wonderful Jonah Whittaker and Mandip Gill. Whereas, yes, there are the first queer couple of the show's history for nearly 60 years of the show. And not just that, they are totally groundbreaking. They're setting new grounds in the show. Given the fact that the Doctor is now a gender fluid being, they regenerate into anybody. They can regenerate into anybody, as Shruti Gatra said. And the way that can regenerate into anything that is new and with different personality, different style, the same software, different case, as Rose Tyler said, or Betty Piper. Well, that's free also. It's very rare. As I said, for me, it's very groundbreaking, because although originally it wasn't in the plan by Sharwara Christian, until such time after, if I'm not mistaken, episode 4 of the new series of season 11 of its new series, that decided that they're gonna looking for that episode, and all the fans wanted it, just for the fans. And Mandigan noticed that, and of course Jordan knows that as well. So they decided to push it through and submitted it to, of course, Chibs. And that's it. That's how Thasmin started. It started with a very kind of rocky start, and then we got in the second season of Jordan's era. Then things are getting shaky. No, I'm sorry, no pun intended. No pun intended for Shaky Azarga. No pun intended for the current MNO4A General Captain. Shaky. Sorry, I'm so sorry for Cap Bonita. I'm so sorry. But it's kind of shaky. Shaky. Oh, here we go again. Oh, Yona. Oh my god. But yeah, very shaky. Indeed, because there was a honesty stuff here in that season, and then Revolution of the Daleks came in, and then Captain Jack Harkness returned to find out of Daleks, and then they wanna, of course, they some give advice with Yaz that they told him, and his line really hit me a lot. Enjoy the journey while you're on it, because the joy, it's worth the pain. That's what Captain Jack had said. Alright, and Flux season came, and everything is up to the place, and then we get a confirmation that, of course, yes, it's coming out, and in the recent special, the recent US special, there's even the Daleks, and then the Doctor reciprocates on yes, and then on the recent special, which is Legend of the Sea Devils. I can't, so nothing but, well, I'm so happy for them, but I don't know how to getting the BBC Centenary special, where it's gonna air almost in 5 months. But I'm kind of nervous what's gonna happen to them, and sure, they should have a happy ending. Okay, so while we are waiting for our guests, so again, as I said, that Maria Watches Over Us was the first queer work that I get into the queer culture itself as a kid. As early as I was a kid around grade school, and I didn't know it was a freaking hella Yuri. I didn't know until a couple of years later when I saw that okay, that thing I watched this as a kid is actually a Yuri show. wow, I didn't know. But also on top of that, we all started with the modern Yuri trend. And one of those who are pioneering the modern Eastern queer works, Eastern Yuri trend, Eastern queer trends. So without, I can't, read also that for Maramite. And what is something? Okay, now Thasmin have some very connected stuff. You say connecting stuff here into the Yuri genre or the girls love genre, because it's obvious that of course 13 and Yaz that there have similar that contrast of personalities and such, because we all know, and yeah, we all know that that the Doctor is an alien and then Yaz is a freaking human being. But on top of that, they have been sharing comments. They had the same, having similar struggles. They had a similar, similar stuff here. Oh, it's very terrible. Yaz's mental health is very explicit, kind of explicit in the show proper, and it was just wanting to discover that it's real. Actually learn the fact on that sense, and then. The Doctor's past is very mysterious and very, very complicated. It's for me, it's kind of complicated, even in the final season. The finale of season 12 of the new series, kind of very complicated and kind of conflicting. It's a timey-wimey thing. But thinking about it, I was wondering, why is this happening? I would wanna. It's quite very mysterious and very complicated for me, but overall it's sort of one of the most interesting stuff that we see in the show. It's something, and the most interesting part that the usual. Do you guys familiar with the gals with the blonde and the black hair, black colored hair? So that's them. That's what 13 Yaz did. So albeit in a reverse form. So because 13 had a bobcat style, and then Yaz is very long hair. Yaz's hair is very long, but basically in the typical Yuri / GL trope of having the blonde and the black hair in the story. So that's the one common stuff that we've seen in other GL and queer works. Another thing is, for me, I think that is more than just a class SS kind of stuff here, and then more than just a wholesome Yuri or GL kind of couple. And the thing is, what can I say? Because they had gone so, God, they have come so far already. They had been traveling for some time already, and the immense one of they became in one of the most notable couples in Doctor Who. Yeah, and they're one of the most phenomenal, and the way that they're over there, they're gonna be invested. Actually, the fans really invested, including myself, in this process. My goodness, I can't believe it. In my years as a girls love fan, I'm saying, now that I'm saying a couple albeit in a live action form, have been invested so much, be emotionally and morally invested, and I couldn't imagine that way. Oh, and the most interesting, I did a a crossover with the Preacher series. Have you seen I already told it on my social media page. It's on my social media accounts that I already did a crossover with, but the Preacher series, specifically Tropical Rouge, where 13 is dressed as Kira Summer, and then Yaz is dressing as Kira Lamere. So there's very interesting. You can see it on my socials, I think, and in a fan project to be coming out very soon. So yeah, that's the most exciting thing. And um, so okay, we're gonna. Is she about to? Our guest is about to ready now. They're flirting with each other. So before I did one more thing before we get talking about Thasmin and of course the queer culture in general. But anyway, there's like a flirting stuff here. You're flirting, or you could be a fluffy. It's gotta be the two F's in the queer culture. It's gotta be the fluff and the flirt because when we say flirty, you gotta be flirt is like I can't. I'm sorry. Yes, the Kabedon thing. The Kabedon thing is also the kind of one of those stuff that is part of flirting. And then fluffy, when you say fluff means to say you can kiss, you can hug, you know, like in a fluffy way, in a very wholesome way, sexual tension. For flirting, I'm sure you know that flirting is gonna be very sexy indeed. Because where he has a sexual tension in there, and the oh my god, how can I say it? How can I explain? So yeah, yeah. So I think we should call our guest right now. All right, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to your Kuromatoki's interactive podcast. Of course, another doctor from this time from the USA. And she regenerated. Woo! Hello, welcome to your Kuromatoki's interactive podcast. So, what should we call you?
Charlie.
Oh, Charlie. Hello. Hello, Charlie. Charlie, how are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just cooking some chocolate chip pancakes.
Oh my god, I'm so hungry. I'm craving for pancakes though. I'm sorry, but okay, before we get moving on to our, of course, Thasmin though, our Thasmin topic. So, I want a very common, curious question. So, how did you get into Doctor Who?
Oh, it actually took me a couple tries. It took me a couple tries to get into Doctor Who. I don't remember who recommended it, but I remember I finally was like, okay, people are telling me I'm going to love this show, so I gave it a shot. I started with the Ninth Doctor's first episode, Rose, and I was just like, what the heck is this? This like evil mannequin? Evil mannequins, so they thought I would like this?
The Autons, I can't remember the first time to see the Autons. Like, what the hell about those mannequins? I was like that when I started marathoning the new series.
Yeah,
and then, what is your first impression about the show in general?
Well, first impression was, what the heck is this? As I said, but I came back to it and I gave it another shot and I sat for a few episodes, and I started to get into it, and then I watched it and I was like, okay, I like this, and then I think by the time I was starting to really like the Ninth Doctor, moved on to the 10th Doctor, which took some adjusting, and I remember I think I related to the 10th Doctor quite a bit. Which is wild now because now that we've had all the Doctors since then, I relate. I feel like I relate less because I never related to a character on television so much before. Yeah, and that was, the Doctor was the first one where I was just like, you know what, this character, I get the vibe. This is kind of like me. I'd be kind of kooky like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it just got better from there. Not that it, wasn't good, but...
Yeah. So, what was your first reaction when Joy Whittaker was announced as the next Doctor?
See, it's weird. I don't remember too strongly. I hear a lot of stories where people remember so vividly their exact reaction, and I wish I could. But I actually have had issues with relying on my memory because I was gaslit so much, which is part of why I relate so much to the 13th Doctor and the Doctor in general, but like the Timeless Child arc. So I can explain more of that later, but I was excited because the Doctor was already this great character, and then even though knowing that Doctor, you know, could regenerate into a turtle if he wanted to, like actually seeing someone who's not a white guy playing the Doctor,
Yeah.
it felt great because it's one thing to say, yeah, this character. Hold on. Sorry, Speed.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so it's one thing to say, you know, this character could be a man, a woman, could be non-binary, is non-binary, gender fluid. You know, it's one thing to say representation, and it's another to actually do it, to show it, so that audience members aren't, you know, I don't know how to explain that. But yeah, I remember we had some comments and stuff going back. I remember the 10th Doctor saying in the Fires of Pompeii, the 10th Doctor said, "Oh, it's okay, just us girls," you know. And it's something that people could say, "Oh, he was just joking," but that's not who the character is. And some really horrible things online about non-binary stuff. But yeah, so we had the 10th Doctor saying it's just us girls. We had the 11th Doctor thinking he actually turned into a girl for a minute with his long hair. I remember that.
Oh my god.
I remember this.
My girl! Oh my god. It's still that ginger.
Yeah, and then he's like, yeah, the real priority is the ginger thing, for sure. But yeah, and then we had the 12th Doctor talking about man crushes and things like that. I'm sorry, I just got a phone call. Is it okay if I step away for a sec?
I see. Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry. I've been trying to reach this person since last year.
Oh no,
I'll be back soon.
Okay, so while we are reading, we gotta reach it out to our guest because she's still busy with our stuff. So I was discovering, like, you know, the things that we should do, and actually I learned the fantasy system and Marmite thing. I quite remember. It's really kind of not just confusing but very complicated compared to normal standard accounts as we've seen in other anime shows. But in Marmite is really different in the sense. So for example, Rosa Kinensis, Rosa Fetida, and what's the other one? Rosa Gigantea, yeah. They're very complicated terms. Yeah. Very complicated terms for me. But overall, because I know French and I know how to speak French, even if the basic ones are very obvious, very familiar to me. Well, at least it's very more than just than that. I can't remember. So one of these days I might able to talk about Marmite in the future, probably in our third season or in our third season rather. So maybe in season 3, but not right now because we already planned some stuff here. So where the heck am I? Oh yes, we're gonna have in our hold on. Our Media Otaku Fest, the lineup in a couple of weeks, I don't know, coming days, because we just should arrange in that and kind of fashion. I mean, so straight we a hectic. It's gonna be another hectic schedule for the first time since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, and we're gonna have in that way in the future. probably on the next couple of weeks. Anyway, couple of weeks and oh my god, where am I? Where's your dead air? It should be to do dead air, but yeah. So we should look forward to it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And of course, a new cosplay coming up in the next month or two, next month or so. So please look forward to that. Here we go. Yeah, same question. Yeah, you said it. Just continue. Just continue, and then.
I don't remember what the question was.
How are you feeling? How did you feel that when Jodie Whittaker was announced as a doctor?
Oh yeah, I remember. Don't remember how I felt the exact moment, other than I thought it was a good thing. I like. It's one thing to know the doctor is like this non-binary, gender fluid, alien who could turn into literally like a turtle, but it's another thing to actually have them show that representation and not just be like, yeah, the doctor is always played by a white man, even though we say it could literally be anyone else. I mean, we got like I remember the 10th Doctor in Fires of Pompeii was like, oh, just us girls. Like, there are little comments like that. Or like the 11th Doctor thinking he turned into a girl because he had longer hair when he regenerated.
And still not ginger.
Yeah, I'm still not ginger. Yes. And then the 12th Doctor talked more about it when he was like sitting on that bench with Bill about like his man crush, or like talking about when him and the Master or Missy were kids and things like that. So they're like, it's like peppered throughout, but they, that was the first time they cast someone who wasn't, as far as we know, a man. So that's really exciting. That was really exciting for me.
Oh, yeah. So right now, before 13 came out, before Jerry came out, what were you thinking? There was a possibility that a queer doctor could be fell in love with a female companion.
Yeah, so like the Doctor, I love them so much. Like, so many of the Doctors have been confirmed asexual, like whether by the actor or some other creator involved, and I love that. And I'm asexual too. But I also feel love and romance, and I like, right now I have a girlfriend, and aces can feel love too. And the Doctor has always at least shown a preference for women, or has had romances with women in the show a little bit. Not so much, not in classic, but the past few Doctors have. And I don't know if you've heard of the split attraction model, but basically there are different kinds of attraction. There's sexual attraction, romantic attraction, aesthetic attraction. There's multiple kinds. And so the Doctor can be asexual, but can also feel romantic attraction to another man, to another woman, a non-binary person, whoever. And I'm really glad that they continued on with that, and they didn't just go, okay, now we have a woman, so now, trying to perpetuate heteronormative agenda. I don't know. I don't know if any of that made sense.
Anyway, so I have a question for you. Another question to be very more curious about it. Very, very curious. So, how do you discover Jodie Whittaker and, of course, Madam Gill?
Did I, like, the first time I saw them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had seen Broadchurch before.
Yeah, we have the call starts with Doctor Who. Like, oh my god, it's Doctor, but not basically Doctor Who. because there's David Tennant, there's David Bradley,
Yeah.
and there's Arthur
Yeah, by the
Deverell.
time by the time that I watched Broadchurch, I recognized Arthur and David, but I didn't know Jodie at that time. She wasn't cast by then. But when she was cast, it took me a minute, and then I recognized her, and I still have not rewatched, but and I know a lot of people really love her work in adult life skills. It's still on my list, but I have to be mentally prepared. I have to be in the right mindset to just be completely destroyed.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched the movie. I love it so much. And then, man, it's just more than that. Then you come balancing between adult life and then being a kid at heart. It's just pretty hard. It's just hard to balance it because the best moral lesson is you can be a kid at heart while you becoming an adult.
Yeah, never been a fan of growing up, as the 13th Doctor says. And then Mandip Gill, I don't think I knew Mandip at all before. Like, I hadn't seen Hollyoaks or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just so glad that she's on the show and that I've gotten to know her as an actor, because she's so good. Like, her facial expressions and, you could would just watch it in slow motion. Like when she tries to stop the 13th Doctor at the Series 12 finale, you can just see so much in her face. I just want to watch it in slow motion. It's just so impressive. I could never.
I was shocked about. Oh my god, I was so amazed about her work and like, damn, it was so good. That Mandy is so good, and being as an actor, and she can doing the expressions and she's so good. No kidding, and I really admire her so much. And
and Jodie too.
Yes, even Jodie as well.
Especially with her portrayal of grief.
Yeah. Damn, they were very good. Yeah. And we're seeing girls and even the non-binary people are being looking up to those two because there are not just only they are now representing some good representation in the show in Doctor, but even because they see them becoming in their inspirations because they've seen them empowering but to be inspired by so many people around the world, and it was just feel amazing, including myself. And I've seen them as women that can be coming heroes of everybody else, and not just focus on one gender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's not surprising at all. It's really not that there's so much backlash.
This is so
on the other hand, it's just like, why do you have such a problem with women and non-binary people being represented? We exist in real life. Like, not everything is for you, this het white guy, like.
Yeah, but even boys really love them so much, even the guys really love them so much because they knew they understand what they feel. They had the same emotion, they have the same energy and the same emotion, same energy. Even the guys really love them. That was the best thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just women and non-binary people who love 13 and who even love Thasmin. I know guys who also love them, and they're just I just think they're neat.
They're freaking neat. Oh. Yeah. So speaking of Thasmin, how did you get into them, and why are they? How I call it? Why are you so invested with the couple so much?
Yeah, so it wasn't. Thasmin's pretty much the first couple I've shipped, and I'm I'm not, I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm in my 20s, and they're like they're the first couple I've really shipped, and I felt so attached to. And they're kind of why I got back on social media so much, because I've had social media, but I haven't really used it much until Thasmin really started to grow on me, and like Thasmin is there from very early on for anyone who is capable of a sapphic reading of the text. And I know Chibnall's always liked to plant little seeds in his work. And
actually, I already said, I already said that it wasn't planned. It wasn't originally planned until, Mandip started to notice some contents on social media and stuff. And then Jody followed it, and then okay, they're like, okay, why don't we do? Okay, let's give what the fans want, something like that to Chibs, and then.
So have you seen one of the more recent Doctor Who magazines? Chibnall talks about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was surprised about that,
Yeah, it didn't surprise me as much as I think Matt's comment on it, saying that it wasn't planned until like series 12, because a lot of us saw it before then, and let's see, Chibnall says it wasn't part of the plan. But you're in a constant dialogue with the show because you see things that come through and you think, that's interesting, we can slow burn that. And that's sort of what happened with Thasmin. And specifically calls out, if you look at arachnids in the UK, which for a lot of us was the first episode where we really saw Thasmin. I know that's when I was really like, oh, wow, okay.
I wasn't acting like that. I was like that as well. And, Mia's mom, Nadja, played by Shobna Gulati, said, are you the iconic? Are you two see each other? I was like, and 30 was like, are you sure? I don't think so. Are we?
The ace confusion and the gay panic blended together so well.
Oh my god, gay panic in here. There's such a lot of gay panic here, which is very common in queer shows and literature as well. There's a proper common types in those two forms of media.
Oh,
very good.
That's
very
especially
common.
The gay panic. You turned into a meme right there. We have a reaction emoji and a meme with that moment. It was just so perfectly panic.
There's so panic there. And I was thinking about it. I remember that saying at the end of that episode, saying, I want more time with you, more with the universe. That's very.
That was such a pivotal moment, like that. In hindsight, and actually even then, it felt like she was admitting a crush, even if she didn't know it. She could feel these. She had these feelings, and she didn't have the words for them yet, maybe, which is part of that's part of the queer experience, or part of many people's queer experiences, is having these feelings and not really, having the exposure or the language or the understanding to know what they are, and kind of working through that, which is really part of this beautiful sort of identity arc that Yaz has here throughout the show. And it's also, Yaz is one of the, I'm trying to think of another companion, but I feel like there has to have been another companion, but
I think it's
not common, at least, for someone to travel with the Doctor, specifically for the Doctor. Like, it's about the adventure and the exploration for a lot of companions. And for Yaz, very clearly from the beginning, I want more of the universe, more time with you. You're the best person I've ever met. That was very much directed towards the Doctor, and you could kind of see the Doctor kind of take that in and kind of like swallow down her reaction and be like, okay, like, we got another one coming. Gay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Remember in the following seasons, it's very intense because we get the master, we get everything is returning bad guys like the Cybermen. Everything is becoming shaky as hell, and the revelation of the timeless child is very, oh my god, very confusing, very timey wimey. If you know what I mean.
Love it.
Yeah, there's something without ruining the canon proper. And this is something that we should consider that. And it's something very shaky for both the Doctor and Yaz, because her revelation being a Time Lord, coming from a certain Gallifrey, and then it was destroyed by war, and then it was destroyed again by the Master. Like, okay, that's the second time, and I was surprised. Whoa, just whoa. But on top of that, they actually have moments as well in that season, and then Yaz's mental health was kind of explicit in the episode "Can You Hear Me?" and it was just so sad. Now she was bullied and she was almost lost her will to live until that the policewoman saved her life, and wanting probably the reason why she became a cop.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great exploring about her mental health. This is so important. This is really important.
Yeah.
It's so important because not everybody can how I call it, experience somebody that can cope on their mental health. Not everybody has that, because they need of somebody that can shoulder, not to shoulder on and to cover, but to understand what they have been through in that turbulent stage of their lives. And it's something that it should be not just recognized but to understand.
Yeah, and I think that Yaz probably feels like the Doctor understands her more than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I get that impression where she finds herself in the TARDIS, and with her time with the Doctor, like, she knows she's going to change during this journey. The Doctor, has a disclaimer right at the start, like, you're not going to come back here as the same people. And like Graham came back, having dealt with his grief, and Ryan chose to go back. Partially, I think. Remember in Can You Hear Me? He has that nightmare about leaving Earth behind. Yeah, so he found stuff there, and his relationship with Graham, he had that arc as well. And with Yaz, we have the mental health and we have the queer identity. And with the mental health, I'm going to talk content warning here, because I'm going to talk a little bit, not about my experience, but a parallel I see with Yaz and the Doctor in the show. And so we know that it's at least very much implied that Yaz ran away and was at least considering suicide. And
I mean, she was just
in her nightmare, we also, we saw a nightmare Sonya saying, "Do it right this time." And so we have, all of that, as well as just her depression and her sort of obsession with, like, finding the Doctor, saving the Doctor. And I think part of that, part of that is she's in love with the Doctor and she really wants to find her. Part of it is just, Yaz's ambition and commitment and dedication, devotion to the Doctor. But part of that, like, a lot of that is also her mental health, and so she struggled with suicidal thoughts and things like that in the past. And then the Doctor, when we see her at the end of Series 12, she's just so tired, and she knows that this is a way to save everyone except for herself, really. And maybe there's another way, but she's just in that depressive state herself, and I think Yaz recognizes that, and she's probably having some flashbacks to when she was in that place, and she just wanted to run away and just let it end, because maybe that felt easier and overwhelming, and so that pulls in there too, where Yaz can see herself in the doctor and sees her going through those things, but Yaz felt alone when she was going through it, and she doesn't want the doctor to feel like she's alone because Yaz wants to be there with her and help her. And I remember thinking when this happened, I was like, some people were thinking, oh, Yaz is going to say, she loves the doctor or kiss her. And in my mind, I'm just going, why not make a very simple device that has like a 5-second delay and then presses the button and just leave that simple device outside the TARDIS and fly away? Like, in my mind, I'm just like, there are other solutions. But I also recognize when you're in that headspace, you don't see those solutions. You don't realize that there are ways to deal with, some of the challenges that you're facing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I wanted to touch on that a little bit because I started writing a series on Doctor Who and mental health, but I never finished it, and part of that is because I relate to some of those, and it's sometimes difficult to write about, like with the Doctor's The Timeless Child arc, and Yaz's mental health as well. So, but it is important, and it's important to talk about, and important to see those things. Important to see those things represented on screen.
Yeah, that's true. So, why the Flux season? How did you get the impression to the couple? What is the biggest contribution to them in the Flux season, even the recent 2 specials of the show?
Thasmin in Flux, they had a lot of time apart. And I don't remember if I read this or not, but I definitely have this image in my head of Jodie like calling Chibs up and be like, hey, why don't I have more scenes with Mandip? What's going on? I could see that happening. But even though they're apart, there is this undeniable strong connection with them across time and space. And the fact that the Doctor took the time and consideration to make that hologram for Yaz, because she'd seen the effect. The Doctor saw all those Post-it notes and saw all the effort Yaz went through in that spare TARDIS and Yaz's TARDIS to try to learn how to pilot it and to find the Doctor. And some of the impact of that, even if the Doctor and Yaz don't talk about that, it's sort of this unspoken, the Doctor saw that, she knows, stuff happened, and she's clever, and she worked it out. But she saw the impact that had on Yaz, and she didn't want that to happen again. She cares about Yaz, and she's, is going to learn from that. So she made the hologram message for in case they get separated again, which, fairly likely considering how things go for the Doctor. But she made the hologram message, and she also taught Yaz how to fly the TARDIS, and Yaz maybe knew some of that already from her studies there, but where she's been trying to teach herself. But the Doctor saw the effort she put in, saw that she was trying to learn, and wanted to help her, and taught her a lot of how to fly the TARDIS. And now we have these 2 co-pilots. I love them so much.
Yeah.
And they're flying the TARDIS together, and they're great, and I love them. But it's a lot of the consideration and care that the Doctor starts to show, and that's really important, especially because in Flux we can see how tense things are with them without the buffer of having the guys around. And a lot of the time they felt like chaperones, to be honest, because there was that fam dynamic, which was a little, different at times, but a lot of times it felt like they were just chaperones. And without them there, it's just there's a lot of unspoken things between them, and now we know that Yaz didn't have the language for that, that she hadn't really accepted that, like, admitted to herself that she was in love with the Doctor. So for Yaz, she doesn't have necessarily the awareness, but she has all the feelings. And the Doctor is, a little bit in denial. She's not going to say anything, but she knows. She knows how Yaz feels about her. And she's been down this road before. So they both have their reasons. They're both very, there's a lot of tension there. And I remember the mattress the mattress scene. I remember Mandip and Jody in one of the interviews or something.
Yeah.
I think Mandip said they were both a little suspicious of that too when they were recording. They were like, it's a little fruity, but
They're not gonna spoiled. Particularly, you said,
yeah, but it's all there. It's just I love it. It's not all queer experiences are the same. Not all stories are the same.
yeah,
Not it's not like, yes, there are times where, like, you know, two queer people will meet and they'll just be like, you know, I like your style or whatever, and then the second date they move in together. That is a queer story. That is, you know, that happens. But there are also a lot of stories and a lot of experiences of falling in love with your best friend. That's part of queer culture.
yeah.
It's almost a rite of passage, you know, it happens to a lot of us. And there's also the, are we friends or are we flirting? Or are we friends
Yeah.
flirting? And
Yeah.
I see that here too. I see both of those. I see
Yeah.
a lot of these experiences in this story
Yeah.
and in this relationship. And I think that a lot of people, not everyone, and that's okay, but a lot of people can relate, whether it's to one or both characters individually, the relationship, or experiences there. And yeah, I think it's this beautiful story arc that maybe wasn't planned, but you know what? Love isn't planned either. It grows and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have Thasmin moment? The moments from the couple? There are a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot.
Yes.
My God.
I am someone out here who is like making fan art and fan vids and fanfics, and like none of them consistently, right? But just a little bit of everything. I even like recorded some Thasmin songs.
Yeah?
And, yeah, I do it all. I do it all.
Really nice. That's really good. Yeah, you have to measure
And
how to
there's
cook
so
yourself up.
many. Oh, I just love them so much.
I think her coming out
Yeah,
in
there's-
If the Daleks was, oh my God, was not just groundbreaking,
Yes.
but it's so very sweet and very true. And she wanted to come out to Dan, and she said, you know, she didn't want to talk about this and stuff. And when Dan was said that the doctor likes Yaz in a romantic way, and of course the doctor didn't understand what Dan was saying. I was like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, she said that, but she knew. Like, we know. Yeah, so it was just, okay, so I got a lot of feelings about all the coming out stuff in this episode. So, Dan, there's a meme about it with Gordon Ramsay. That was very accurate. It's a very accurate meme where it's like Dan with Yaz is like Gordon Ramsay with kids, and he's like very, you know, gentle and things like that. And then with adults, Gordon Ramsay, yeah, with the doctor. So anyway, I love that meme. But with Yaz and Dan,
Yeah. Yes, go on.
Okay, with Yaz and Dan, it's just this very delicate sort of friendship moment where Dan has his own experiences which fuel his decisions and choices in this episode, which I understand. But with Yaz, she's had this push from Jack before, but to Dan, who really broke through the sort of guards that she put up to protect herself. Because she keeps getting pushed away from the doctor, right? Whether she's admitted it to herself or not, her feelings that the doctor, while she has shown some openness to it and has shown affection toward Yaz, the doctor knows and she's not doing anything about it. And I think Yaz kind of picked up on some of that too, in addition to her own, you know, dealing with her identity. But with Dan and Yaz, it just felt very delicate and gentle, and I thought that was handled very well. With Dan and the Doctor, my feelings differ a bit, because I remember there was this article BBC put out before we even saw Dan on screen, really, except for maybe the initial teaser, where it listed like 10 things to know about John Bishop, that you need to know about John Bishop before, Doctor Who. And one of those things on the list, I think number 10, was that John is an LGBTQ ally, and like won some award for it or something. But BBC is saying you need to know he's an LGBTQ ally. That just to me went, okay, he's gonna be like nudging them together here. Like there's gonna be something going on. I love it. But in some way or another, and I really love that Dan's become Yaz's companion. I really like that she gets that. So I love that. I love their dynamic. But anyway, back to Dan and the Doctor. I really have mixed feelings about him basically outing Yaz to her, because I understand where he's coming from with his experiences and how he sees both of them just kind of struggling and denying their feelings, and he wants to be that bridge to kind of push them together and be like, you got to at least talk or something, like just, or maybe he's even just kind of preparing the Doctor or something. So that she has some time to like think about how she's going to react when Yaz, theoretically opens up to her, or maybe the Doctor will open up to Yaz. We don't know what he's thinking, other than something needs to change. But it isn't really ally behavior to do that. And of course, people have different interpretations as to whether or not Yaz was already out and just in denial of her feelings specifically to the Doctor, her BFF, her bestie, but or if that was her just coming out to herself first, which is my interpretation. But of course, people can have their own interpretations of the text. So for me, it felt a little bit like outing, and I see how that works and how that progresses the plot forward in the relationship, and that's a different thing than, I just feel like whenever it comes up, I need to comment on how that's what happened in the show, but don't do that in real life, because that's not actually ally behavior in real life. Never out someone, yeah.
So I think
but I like that it...
Yeah. So I think
I like that it helps progress that.
Yeah.
But don't do that.
Yeah, I know. I think in the Legend of the Sea Dev was when, in the one scene, do you know the underwater scene?
Oh
my god.
Not a bad date, am I?
Yeah. Actually,
and then BBC goes and posts it on YouTube and calls it Underwater Date. Like
oh my god.
The further they get in the actual text, the more they open up about their posts, because BBC has been like several times during the past few years, right?
Yeah.
They'll post something like, we doubt Byron has 2 hearts, Thasmin post, and then they delete it.
Oh my
god.
God.
We're like, I got receipts.
Oh my
We
God.
took screenshots immediately. We know what they are. We know.
We got the receipts.
So many moments like that. And like BBC tweeting out the gay pride flag with something Yaz or something Thasmin, and they delete it immediately, and then they repost with a rainbow emoji because a gay pride flag isn't allowed or something. I don't know what embargoes are going on, but like they keep doing that. And they finally posted the gay pride flag. They finally and they left it up, and that took a lot to get to this point. And that was when they shared hold on. That was when they shared Thasmin fan art of Yaz and the Doctor getting ready.
I saw that. I saw that post. They actually took. I think the intro is gonna take it some, risky, but there's something like, the intro is gonna have a bold mode, man. They have.
Yeah. So that was. I mean, it is Pride Month. Like, come on. But anyway, that was a lovely bit of fan art by Gallifrey Encrypted, or Venti Cryptid.
Yeah.
And it's Yaz with lesbian pride flags on her cheek.
Yeah.
And rainbow button down with a lesbian rainbow flag and a progress pride flag. And she is painting the non-binary pride flag on the Doctor's cheeks. They're both smiling. The Doctor has one of her typical rainbow shirts on, except for it's the actual rainbow. And then a pin on her suspenders that says Space Ace. So this is the closest we've come to, like, BBC Twitter confirming lesbian Yaz, confirming non-binary gay ace Doctor. And that was just, like, a really good day for me because I mean...
No kidding, even the fan arts, they are so sweet.
Yeah. I'm non-binary and ace and gay, and so seeing all of that on an official BBC tweet, very validating. Yeah, and then this is, I know myself and a lot of people have been referring to Yaz as sapphic because we don't know what particular label she might identify with, and it's Doctor Who, they don't need to use specific
Even Random
labels.
Git has shared the fan arts, which is very lovely. On her Instagram, which is, oh my god, which is lovely.
Yeah, back when Mandip was on Twitter, he was like clear the Sappy. She was
I know.
Keeping all the Thasmin fan art and interacting with the Thasmin community. It's a glorious time. And there's also her on Instagram, and she has a whole highlight reel on her Instagram full of Thasmin fan art. And my aspiration one day be I can never focus on finished art, but yeah, she's fantastic. She's a good ally, and I know Jodie's not really on social media. That's a good thing, probably. It's not a nice place, but I love how close they are, and like how she sort of passes along some stuff, and I think that's great. It
was pretty surprising that she was nominated for being the the LGBT Ally Award in an award, if I'm not mistaken, for Jodie, which is very surprising. Yeah, she was nominated alongside Serene Jones.
I'm over in the US, so I'm not as in tune with any of those, but
that's
very exciting.
At least it's a good achievement for her. Another amazing achievement for her. A bold but amazing achievement for Jodie as well. Which is something that she will keep this forever. Yeah. Alright, okay. So yeah, we saw there are a lot of moments here, but one more thing. Why is Thasmin important to, of course, not just the LGBTQIA, but also to everybody else? Why is it so important for you?
Yeah. So LGBTQ aside, this is really, I really like the two separate character arcs that Yaz and the Doctor are going through, and how they coincide with each other. With the Doctor, they're both character arcs involving identity and sort of grief and mental health. And with the Doctor, that's identity surrounding, the Timeless Child story, and her grief around losing Gallifrey again. And with Yaz, it's more about her queer identity, but we also have other elements that have been thrown in the show with her as well. We have her mental health arc and the things that she's dealt with. We had in episodes like Rosa, we had some, it wasn't heavier throughout the series, but we did have elements of like racism in there, and we had Demons of the Punjab, which had a beautiful historical element regarding her family history, and that a lot of these things are parallels to each other and very similar with Yaz and the Doctor. And we had parallels with other characters in the series too, like Adam and his partner in Praxeus, and we had parallels with Claire and Byron in The Haunting of Villa Diodati, and it's even in Resolution that what I refer to as the Thasmin Het AU, with the friends to lovers couple in there. But I think it's turned out really well. I've really enjoyed it, and I think that
Yeah, there was actually there are the first couple that I emotionally invested in the show. They're very coincident. They're not just my first Doctor, and yes, was my first companion that when I started watching the show regularly. Like, it's so very coincidence. It's like if the strains of fate coming through within them, and the experiences that they have, their similarities to each other are like the streams of fate tying with each other's hands.
Yeah, I really like that they both, they did sort of meet by chance, but they both have helped each other grow over the years. And even though at this point they've both been apart more than they've been together during this time, with the Doctor being in jail for like 30
months.
years or so.
10 months.
10 months from Yaz's perspective. From the Doctor's, it's been, she said it was a few decades. So about 30 years maybe, depends on how much she was downplaying it, So for Yaz, it's been 30-some years she's known Yaz. And for Yaz, it's been about 8 years. There's some, flexibility there with comments like...
Oh, is it a timey-wimey stuff here?
Yeah, but in general, it's been 30-something years for the Doctor and maybe 8 to 10 years for Yaz. Yaz is now 27 or 28, and we don't need to talk about the Doctor's age, but but the time that they've spent together is actually less than the time that they've spent apart since they met each other, and they still have such a strong connection. They've had great chemistry since the very beginning, which is part of what led Chibnall to say we can slow burn that, with Mandup's performance, and their chemistry together on screen is very, very palpable. They're much closer physically and making excuses to touch each other, basically. I remember in this one scene, Yaz sort of puts her hand on the Doctor's back while the Doctor's crouching down looking at something, and the Doctor stands up to listen to Yaz and just kind of follows her hand, so they're still touching, and then once that interaction's over, she crouches back down. There was no need to do that. There was no need to touch. There was no need to lean into the touch. It's just all these little signs, so that's the chemistry between the actors, certainly. But it's so powerful, and it's been there from the beginning, much in part to the characters or to the actors' chemistry. But it's been there, and it's only grown in complexity and strength over the years, and I love it.
So what can we expect for the BBC, the upcoming BBC Centenary special? I think it's gotta be another nervous breakdown or something, kind of stuff.
Actually, yeah. So
What are your predictions, by the way? Right away.
It's going to be really big, really long. I'm very excited for that, especially because they have so much packed into it. It kind of needs to be. I know the pandemic really cut down on the episodes and the length and everything, and I think they've done really well with all the circumstances so far. But so we have a lot of recurring villains, of course, and some timey-wimey stuff.
And even another set of classic compounds coming back in the show, which is very exciting.
Yes. We have Tegan and Ace coming back.
Yeah.
I believe they're both canonically bisexual. So really, it's just like, you know, gathering the gays here. We got all. I'm very excited.
It's been quite a long time since Sarah Jane Smith, and now these two, but not one but two classic companions. Like, oh, this is very exciting.
Oh, I miss Sarah Jane so much.
Yeah,
I love
same.
her. But yeah, I'm glad to have Tegan and Ace come back. The At Childhood's End book.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
I guess is no longer canon if we're coming back with this, but it had really good characterization, and that was written before we even saw them on screen. And I love that Sophie made Yaz like very explicitly jealous in that book. Like, literally used the word jealous. And this is before we even saw them, and Sophie was like, "Yeah, I know what you are, Yaz."
And I could see, just really how the interaction between Ace and Yaz in the centenary. I would want to see someone kind of advice or something, like what Sarah Jane and Rose did.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
I even take it as well.
Yeah.
And when Tegan step in and gonna be giving another set of advice to Yaz.
Yeah,
We'd really love to see it.
There was a really long time where I was just dreading the end of their story because I did not see any reality where Yaz willingly leaves the Doctor, which you know how it ends for a lot of people who love the Doctor. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't see anything but that happening for the end of Yaz's story, but actually I'm more optimistic to have a different kind of ending for Yaz, especially because they've planted so many little, like, foreshadowing, like, all these little seeds to potential endings for her, like the "I'm not ready to let you go yet." Maybe the "yet," you know, is anticipating Yaz might leave willingly, whether it's for her own sake or like a mutual parting, or, you know, or maybe because of the regeneration. Like, we don't know exactly, of course, but it is. I do see it as a possibility, her choosing to leave. Some people have theorized that the Doctor will leave her behind intentionally for her own mental health or something. That's another one.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they'll be
I also forgot about the Master coming back.
Yeah, we have the Master. One of my theories is that, because I was analyzing the costume and everything that Sasha's wearing in the scene with Yaz and the Doctor, and with his acting in that, gorgeous.
Sasha Dolan's amazing.
We can't quite love. We can't quite interpret, or like, we can interpret, but we don't actually know if he was threatening the Doctor or warning the Doctor in that scene. And I was looking at the blocking of the characters, and I was thinking, okay, maybe this is the Master rewriting time, which would be very painful. Rewriting time and pretending to be the Doctor and kind of having Yaz on his side in that way. Because there's also, you know, this long-running thing where people want Yaz to betray the Doctor or something. Or they think she will, which I don't think she ever would, at least not willingly or knowingly. Don't see that happening. But, you know, if the Master messes with time, maybe, because, like, if her costume is more reminiscent of her earlier season 11 looks, maybe he rewrote time and kind of inserted himself into Yaz's life before the Doctor had her influence. That could be possible. Or that could be from Spyfall, or, you know, who we thought was O. That could be O, and then the more unhinged Master with the, you know, I think blue eyes or something we saw.
Because of the, because of the Siberian, one of those theories, I think he has the Siberian inside him.
Yes, he has the Siberian inside him. And at the end of Series 12, when the Death Critical exploded, you might not have been able to hear it. I know I couldn't hear it, but I'm hard of hearing. The closed captions, and like maybe you can see it in the script, he tells them to follow him. So it does look like he escaped in a TARDIS. Whether the Cybermasters followed him or not, or like made it off in time or something, we don't know. We didn't see him in the trailer, but who knows?
Asha was there, and even set up Cyberman.
Oh, yeah. We got some timey-wimey stuff going on.
Oh my god. I was saying, as a brigadier would say, well, here we go again. Oh, KH2 is also there in Vendor. And we can expect Graham coming back because of judging from the filming shots.
Yes.
So,
here's his dance. Like, so when did you know? Way before her. Yeah.
I would love to see the interact, between Graham and Dan. I'm looking forward to seeing these two.
They've been pining after each other, making hard eyes since the train. Like, seriously. Oh, and this one look, I almost always include it in fan-vid edits that I make, is the look they give each other when Yaz is showing the Doctor the necklace. And they both do, that was in the Kerbalam episode, they both do a little, like, lip check. They both glance at each other's lips, and they have, like, just these big, soft expressions. It's so gay.
They're snogging. They're gotta be snogged or something.
It's canonized now. It's canon hard eyes.
I'm gonna be screaming, like, I'll be hysterically screamed when it happens. Of course, the regeneration scene. No, I'm not ready for the regeneration scene. Come on. I know it's my first first regular regeneration ever in the show, but I've actually I've seen.
Take some aids.
I've seen 9's regeneration, and even 10, and even 11. I've seen 12 as well.
Yeah.
My God,
I've made a couple edits that are like, sort of like made to look like fake phone calls from the Doctor. That I made made two of them. One is centered around change, and I made that edit to sort of help people through their through the grief, process of dealing with the regenerating Doctor, and so I think that could be helpful for you and a lot of people. And then the second one that I made is more aimed around grief, because I have a lot of people who are struggling with their mental health, and Doctor Who has helped a lot of people with their mental health.
Yeah, true.
And the 13th Doctor, such a comfort. So I made that edit with various lines that she said in the show, and then I know in at least one of them I used some clips from extras that Jodie put out during the lockdowns. So those are very comforting and help a lot of people. And another thing in the show I want to point out is the whole she is the universe, she was the universe, you are the universe thing around the Doctor. The Doctor, there's this very big thing about the Doctor being the universe. And that was sort of one of my headcanons for a while. Not that it isn't now, but was like the Doctor is a physical manifestation of the universe. And so that was threaded throughout this whole era. And then in Demons of the Punjab, the Doctor says, "No Yaz, we can't have a universe with no Yaz."
Yes,
and
one of my favorite
I'm always
moments.
Going back to that parallel. Always. I love it.
I would really mind to want to hear Joy's version of Yellow in the background, because oh my God, if they do it, I don't think I'm gonna cry if they gonna play. Well, but if not, oh my God, if I'm gonna start a riot.
Jodie singing Yellow is like having a hug from the Doctor. That's what it feels like whenever I listen to that song, and so I just share it with people when they're upset. And I'm just like, here you go. But if they play that, I remember watching the video of Jodie recording, and Coldplay visited her.
Yeah, I know.
I remember.
I mean, she had a fangirl moment in there.
Yes, that's how we all feel with Jodie. And then there was the whole, and they performed, and they had Jodie come sit with them on stage when they sang, You Are the Universe, or My Universe, My Universe, yes. She was so happy. then and
Yeah.
then
The whole Coldplay members were there.
Yeah, and one of the more recent interview or little video things on YouTube, I think, where she's listing off musicians or music, and she doesn't mention Coldplay, and I'm like, oh, honey, are you okay? Because Coldplay's breaking up. I don't worry about her. I love her.
Yeah,
Poor-
you know,
poor
I
Jodie.
feel that we all like Jodie though. We all like you breaking, like, you know, when I felt the losing of my favorite brand or something. It was just so sad, you know. And we're all the same feeling as Jodie though. But well, anyway.
Song goes.
Oh
I
well.
made an edit for it. Thank you, Jodie. Edit. Yeah. Jodie, our doctor.
Yeah. So actually, I would really love to talk about more about Thasmin, but unfortunately, we had the time left. Yeah, we had to talk about it. So, but anyways, thank you for spending our time here in this podcast. So, do you want to give it a shout out or shout out?
Shout out to who?
To your friends or to your friends or to your fellow Vivians out there.
Yes, Jody and Mandip and everyone involved, and that one crew member wearing a Thasmin shirt.
Yeah.
We love you. Also, everyone on the servers in the Thasmin server, which anyone who loves Thasmin, you're welcome to join. I have found such a community here in the Doctor Who community and the Thasmin community. And that's really helped me a lot, and I've really enjoyed getting to know all of you and help you as well, and really find the sense of family. So, thank you.
Yeah, actually, one more thing before we're gonna promote our social pages. So, honestly, even in quite few long years as a fan of queer culture, I would say something that is, you know, very progressive, but also very bold thing, and then a couple that is, you know, they're having such a comfort and such a inspiration to many people, not just the binary people, but everybody else, regardless of social circumstances, but that gather together just to you know to get support and giving emotional support and giving some sort of inspiration to many, because there is more than just shipping. That is more on the inspiration side, because they are looking there. These guys, you know, these two, you know, Jodie and Mando are so are so wonderful people, and they're really the ones that everybody can look up to so much, regardless, and because they received it as, you know, seeing that as the better version of themselves as people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we see.
Yeah.
Now we see a LGBT ship that has such a phenomenal thing in a very iconic show like Doctor Who, and my God, I don't know how to say. I'm so speechless. But yes.
Yeah, and it's a huge deal. Like a show like Doctor Who, it's been running for 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, minus the gap. But yeah, it's an international, it's a huge show, a huge, big deal to have this sort of representation and to have these stories. And it's just so beautiful to see it interwoven throughout the universe, and it's such an expansive universe. The universe, you can never consume all of the content. There's always more books and comics and stories, and
we got big fan audios as well.
You bring in.
Oh yeah, just speaking of audios, have you heard their what do you call it, Doctor Redacted? Have you heard that audio?
Very gay, very trans.
Yeah, I know.
I like it.
Yeah, I really liked it so much. It's actually one of the most notable non-big Finnish audios I've heard, and it was really good because it has a representation. There's a recurring characters coming from the show came in that audio, which is very good. And you can see Jody as the doctor, get a bit in some sort of trouble with kind of with trouble with the audio though. But it was very good sound effects, eh?
Yeah. I remember this one line in one of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, I love Doctor Who Redacted, the cast, and Ella and Juno, and everyone is just, I love it so much. The stories that they're telling and the characters that have been that have grown in the relationships is great. But I remember this one line I love so much. I'm not going to give out the context or anything because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't
we get
heard
a
it yet.
spoiler.
But
spoilers,
yeah,
ladies.
but there was this one line where it was like, "We're in charge now, babes," and I'm like, "Yes." And that's all I'm gonna say. You gotta listen to it. It's amazing.
Yes.
I'm not even a podcast person.
I totally recommend it to everybody.
Yes, Charlie recommends Doctor Who Redacted.
Yeah.
Seal of approval.
Yeah. So, do you want to promote your socials?
Yeah. So I am either She Regenerated or She Regenerated 13, just across social media, basically. And I have a link tree and everything in my Instagram bio, and I make all sorts of fan art and video edits on my YouTube mostly. I'm very chaotic and not very consistent across all socials, but it's all good and gay, people. It's all good and gay.
Okay, thank you very much, Charlie, for taking your time in the podcast. And you are very welcome to coming back here in the podcast.
Thank you. It's been great. I love talking about Thasmin anytime.
Oh yeah, sure did. So we talked about her in general and actually the reports of proper representation in the show. Maybe in a future episode, so maybe, but who knows? Who knows? No pun intended.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear interviews once this is all concluded, because I feel like there's been a big embargo, especially on Jodie, to not talk about things. So I'm really excited to see how they talk about it once the final episode with them is out.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you very much again, Charlie. And of course, stay safe, stay kicking and stay alive, and of course, have a good time with you and your fam.
Alright, you too. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, thank you very much, and it's not goodbye, but rather see you later as well. Take care of yourself and your fam. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, there you have it, guys and girls and gender fluid people. So that's Charlie. And we are talking about, of course, not just Thasmin, but even at queer culture as well. So I already, how I call it, what I said, my own experience and getting into that culture, in the LGBT culture, in the fictional universe, and oh my god, I would love to talk about it as well. But yeah, unfortunately, we had it's so sad. It's about to end, as well as always. But yeah, thank you very much for listening to this latest episode of YKIP. So again, in case you are new to this podcast, then actually all 20. Is it 23? No, it's 22 episodes. The past 22 episodes of YKIP are all on my Facebook page, and most of them are most of them are on my YouTube channel, which is Yona. Oh well, this is pretty exciting though. I know I'm kind of nervous because of the regeneration scene coming up. for the Jory Whittaker era, of course, for Jory's sponsor episode. And we got some combat characters and some combat characters, and we know it's gonna be, you know, a big surprise. And well, let's see in October. So by the way, my lineup for MIDI Ozine Fest will be posted on my Facebook page and even on my Instagram sometime after the Eureka Fest 2022. And also, I'm going to be talking about it on the next episode. And speaking of that, next episode, we're gonna going back once again to the prerequisites. This time, we're gonna doing some so little way back at our mid-season pre-cures from Curious Passion to La Mer, and then our impressions about the newest mid-season cure, that is Amane Kasai aka Cure Finale from Delicious Party Pretty Cure. This is pretty exciting because this is the first time that we're gonna see a redeemed mid-season cure from planet Earth. But although this is not the first time that we've seen that, because we already have Sunshine and Moonlight, and then Fortune, and of course the recent one, which is Bashiri. So it's pretty exciting today indeed. I'm so excited for Amane to become a cure. I'm pretty excited because and this time from the US of A, we're gonna going straight to the down under. Yes, our guest will be Luca. Yeah, she's also a pretty good fan and also a multi-fandom mad lad like myself. But you know, I'm pretty excited to talk about, of course, both the mid-season creatures and even, of course, Cure Finale. And again, no pun intended, but this is not some sort of penultimate episode. Not just yet. It's on the penultimate episode of our podcast. Actually, in our so I'm so excited to talk about the mid-season kids that came before, and then of course Cure Finale, the first impressions about Cure Finale, and that's all I can talk about it. And again, thank you very much for listening and watching. This is Yona signing out, and I'll see you guys on the next Yona Kuromatoki's Into Our Dead podcast. Stay safe, stay kicking, and stay awesome, guys. Take care of yourselves and your fams and your friends as well. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you very much for listening and watching.